Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Well, that's what they tell us, anyways.
That's true.
One day it'll be true.
One day.
One day.
Write it on the board.
When we're being interviewed by all sorts of people, not just
each other,
not just the guys over at the Wrap It Up podcast.
Oh, shout out!
Shout out! Well, I mean, they did us a solid by having me on there.
Yeah.
I should probably try to get him to interview one or both of you guys as well. That way he doesn't get just my side of it.
I trust your experiences.
The amount we remember from that is probably...
Well, I mean, there's an entirely good chance that I threw both of you under all kinds of buses.
Yeah,
but
no wonder my body was hurting.
Like, there's a bus, yoink!
I was just looking for something to do, so here I am.
Yeah, I would attempt to explain my process, but I kind of just hit record and black out, and I don't know how it happens. So,
all right. Well, I teased the story. So, if you've listened to the interview before you listen to this podcast, you know that there's a story coming up here. Mm-hmm. But if you've listened to this before you hear the interview, then you knew I was about to do this. Then I've ruined something from the interview. But, Justin.
Yep.
Story came out this week. You and I are going to have to work on something for our friend Jeremy here.
All right.
A particular actress came out and said she wants to date a normal person, not a Hollywood type.
So he's out.
But he's not a Hollywood type.
He ain't normal.
Well, I mean, I think she meant more like civilian.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is our way into being the Hollywood type.
I'll take a note. Who am I looking for?
It was hopefully a very loose definition of the word normal.
Well, I think she, I think the actress meant not somebody who's already in the industry.
Right.
So we can get Jeremy to hook up with her.
Uh-huh.
Boom. We are in the industry.
Perfect.
Coattails riding all the way. Now, granted, Jeremy does have to take a bullet.
Oh.
Actually, it's going to be a real good bullet. Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, okay. Well, sure.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up for this?
I don't know. I don't know what service she's on, but...
Well, Jennifer, if you're listening...
DateGen.com.
I don't know if she's on Tinder or...
Farmers only. She wants normal people. Wants one of them, country boys.
I could be whatever you want me to be, Jennifer. I'm very good at following orders, so hit me up. Yeah. MediaPodSmash@gmail.com.
I just thought, I saw that and I was like, well, I've been married for 10 years, so I'm out. And Justin's essentially married.
But for
common law.
For Aniston.
This reminds me of that discussion we had in the past about how Britney Spears wanted to date a nerd. And then I would think I was also considered for that one too, and that didn't pan out.
Well, really what it comes down to is that because I'm not single, and you are,
right? That's really
anytime this happens, this is what's going to happen,
right? Yeah.
So that, and I figured you wouldn't be like, no, I will not.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bet.
So, I mean, just because there's no way of transitioning stories, just a couple of news items up top before we get to what everybody's coming here for.
Right.
Especially this week.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the Christopher Nolan deal?
I did not.
No.
Okay. He signed a deal with a studio that is insane.
Okay.
He was with Warner Brothers and now he's with Universal.
Okay.
So it's he was so mad about the HBO having Tenet put on streaming without it really getting a full theatrical release.
Yeah.
That he really he went on a whole rant about how HBO is the worst streaming service, which I would say I'm going to disagree with him, man. I'm really
go back
digging
and
HBO Max.
Check out our streaming bracket. We'll tell you which one's the worst. And it was an HBO Max.
Yeah. He's obviously never used the Yahoo Screen app.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Or listen to us.
Yeah. But so his new deal is he has now a 100-day theatrical window.
Okay.
Guaranteed $100 million budgets with an equal marketing budget. So and probably more. He gets 20% of the first dollar gross. And a blackout period where that studio, whichever studio he signed with, and I want to say it was Universal, is not allowed to release a theatrical movie 3 weeks before or after his movie.
Wow.
That's a pretty good deal he's got there.
You
can't release anything, just my stuff.
and I get that he makes movies that he wants them to be seen in a certain way, and he's gotten to a point with his career that he has a fair amount of latitude and he can pretty much just direct whatever he wants. But at the same time, you take the Batman movies away, and where does he really stand? Memento was an incredible film, but is that the kind of movie that gets you this kind of latitude?
Well,
no.
What about the Interstellar?
I never got around to seeing Interstellar.
I didn't either.
But
it looked like a massively epic movie.
I did really like, what was that one where they were... Oh, Inception.
Yeah.
I did really like Inception. That was, But, I watched Tenet. Tenet was... It was actively trying to confuse you to the point where, it was just kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. So many people were like, I didn't understand it. Well, no, it's because he didn't want you to understand it. He intentionally did things that were, just to try to confuse the audience. I didn't like it. I thought it was bloated. I thought it was really, whatever. I don't know if there's any director worth that kind of control over one studio. You can't release a movie 3 weeks before or after. Or what if he makes a movie that, because there's a lot of directors that have made a movie that have thought this movie is awesome, and then it came out and we all went, well, that sucks. That's terrible. And because they signed this deal, they have to leave it in the theaters for 100 days.
Yeah, that's kind of crappy. Is this opening the door for more deals like that, you think?
Yeah, I think you have to be a director on the level of Nolan or higher than Nolan. You would have to be a Spielberg. Yeah. Or somebody like that.
Or a Smith, maybe.
I'm not even sure.
I was gonna say Bay. Explosions.
Maybe just because his movies make money. Yeah. They're not necessarily classified as good movies.
No, but they make money.
But they make money. So
Stallone and his Expendables.
I don't think the last Expendables made all that much money. So Stallone is hit or miss. I don't know. Eastwood might have the clout, but I don't think his movies make the kind of money that. I think you gotta have a Spielberg or a Bay name where Spielberg could clap his name on just about anything and it's gonna, it's guaranteed, #1 movie opening on the weekend and, $100 million first weekend. Kind of like Marvel is right now. That's a Marvel movie. No, it's not. That says Batman. That's Marvel.
Marvel presents Batman. DC can't get it right. We'll do it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that if other directors start to try to get in on and make contracts.
That could be a really slippery slope to go down too. Yeah. Directors.
Yeah.
Uwe Boll shows up.
Listen, I got some great video game movies coming out.
M. Night Shyamalan comes in there.
Yeah.
Here's the twist.
I tell you, I didn't see Old, but what was that one he did? The last one he did before that. Well, I thought Split was really good.
Oh yeah, Split was good.
I like Split.
Yeah.
And then what was the one where he did where all of them came together?
It was,
where
was that Glass?
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty interesting.
I like all three of those movies.
It could have been better, but I mean, it was, not as bad as some of the other movies he did.
Yeah, true.
And then what was that with The Visit, the one where they went to Grandma's house? I thought that one was pretty good.
So he's starting to...
Like, I thought he kind of turned it around.
Mm-hmm.
He had that little in-between period where, there's a couple clunkers, but...
yeah, After Earth.
Well, I'm not even sure that was his. I mean, I know he directed it, but like I get the feeling that there was some other hands in that cookie jar.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I'm going to guess that M. Night Shyamalan shows up and tries to demand this kind of deal from the studio, and the studio just picks up the phone and goes, "Security?" Yeah, no. He's sitting in front of me. Yeah.
They'd be laughing in his face. They wouldn't be able to pick the phone up. You want what now? Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy.
He thinks he's Nolan.
Yeah, that's cute. Tase him.
What a twist.
What a twist.
I wonder, like, what, I assume that the only reason that the movie studios took him seriously is that, like, he went in and said, "I want this," and they, the first studio was like, right, like, we're going to offer that to you, and then he went over to the second studio, and they were like, all right, and then, so the first studio was like, "Never mind, we were kidding. That guy who laughed at you, we fired him."
Yeah. Come back.
And because if one studio is willing to do it, the rest of them are going to be like, yeah, we'll do it too.
Yeah, we'll match them.
Yeah, even though, like, like some of the bigger studios are going to be like, well, the only studio I could see going, "Get out of here," would be Disney. Like, Disney would be like, "I don't care who you think you are.
Yeah.
We are bigger than every director." Like,
yeah.
What Marvel movie are you doing? Oh, none? Yeah, go away.
Yeah, but our name sells tickets. The directors' names do not.
Yeah.
True.
Like, we put Disney Presents, not Michael Bay Presents. Go away.
Yeah. Disney presents a Michael Bay film.
Well, that could be fun.
That'd be a lot of explosions. Be like an adult version of Cars.
No.
Let them all wreck.
Do animated Expendables, but like Mickey is the Stallone character.
Nice.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Yeah.
I want to see that now. I feel like I know how you are going to respond to this one.
Okay.
But I'm curious to know how you are going to respond to it.
Probably in anger and rage. Or sleepy and hungry. Those are pretty much it. All you get out of me.
The only two options we have.
Yeah. Laugh or cry.
You've seen the original Lost Boys, right?
No.
No?
Uh-uh.
Okay, then. You are not going to have a response to this. You, however, I know have seen it.
Yeah, I have.
You enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
it's a great movie.
Higher up on your list?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the sequels.
No.
I haven't either.
No.
I've heard they're not worth... Apparently, they're actively in the process of about to do a remake.
Okay.
Like, to the point where they've hired script writers, a director.
I'm surprised they haven't tried already, actually.
The kid from A Quiet Place.
Okay.
The boy from Quiet Place, not the girl. And one of the kids from It. I'm not...
Finn Wolfhard?
Not him.
Okay.
No. Tommy...
Okay.
I think was the one. Yeah, one of the kids from It that wasn't already like super famous from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Are gonna be the two boys from like the, the Friends, I guess, and so they haven't really announced the other cast. I personally hope though there is one cast member they keep the same.
Okay.
And that's the oily saxophone guy.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Like, everybody else, you got a new Kiefer, a new, new other guys,
But the oily saxophone guy.
The oily saxophone guy.
That's a must.
All right, you need to watch Lost Boys. It's a classic 80s horror film.
Yeah.
Horror being a bit on the looser side.
Right.
It's
one of Joel Schumacher's films.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Cross that off the list.
You actually look at his filmography, except for the one or two movies. Most of his movies are actually pretty decent, or if not good. But yeah, so like, what is it? It's you got the Coreys, and they meet up with. So I wonder if these two kids are going to be the Coreys.
Yeah.
And then they'll have some newcomer be the guy that they befriend. And then what? Kiefer was one of the vampires, and then there was some other.
Yeah, there was like a.
Yeah, but there was a scene
people.
that only would exist in an 80s movie. And outside of the 80s, I don't know if you could have this scene and have it make sense. They're at a concert. There's this massive buff guy who is playing the saxophone, like rocking out with the saxophone. And they focus on him for a good couple of minutes. Like while they're at this concert, like the camera just focuses in on him while he is just, I mean, we're talking like an 80s Schwarzenegger style big, like just massive muscle, like just going to town on the saxophone. Does not matter for the rest of the movie. It makes no sense as to why that scene is there, but they feature.
They owed someone a favor.
I guess, I don't know. Like, or that guy showed up and he was like, "I'm going to be in the movie. I'm going to
play saxophone.
I'm going to play the saxophone." Put this guy in the movie. I think he might murder us. Look at the size of him compared to the rest of us.
Let him do what he wants. So yeah, if you're wondering what I was watching that time you walked in on me, and I turned the TV off really quick, that's what it was.
Oh, okay.
The oily saxophone.
Oily saxophone guy.
Yeah, oh, sure, that's what it was. Well, for time, I think we're going to skip the other story, so we'll come back to that next week. I had wrote if we didn't have any other content that we would talk about the Dancing with Stars cast list.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Because I know we've done it before, where our discussion at the end of it was like, are these really stars?
I look forward to that next week then.
So we'll have to maybe I'll have to write some things down, and because they actually seem to got some stars, but we'll talk about that. So let's get to what
we did have some sad news too in the pop culture world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tragic passing of Norm Macdonald.
That sucks.
I feel like we got to bring that one up.
That did hurt. That hurt bad.
That like came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He apparently been battling cancer for 9 years and nobody knew. Like, he kept it quiet.
Yeah.
But I mean that does explain like when he was on the middle a couple of years ago. Like I felt like he looked different.
Yeah.
And it explains why I thought that, because apparently he was in the middle of fighting cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He on his YouTube channel, he did like a quarantine show in 2020. So I'm guessing that was probably like the last bit of footage that he did on his own, and you can definitely see in that too. It's just like, oh man, it looks a little rough.
I watched a few Norm Macdonald clips this week. I watched where he was on Conan with Courtney Thorne-Smith. So like in the mid '90s when she was still on Melrose Place. Oh, that clip had me dying. I was so. But it reminds me of like. That was back when Weekend Update was worth watching. Like we watched it every week because Norm was just so good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of his other, like his voice work too. Like the first ones I thought it was dirty work.
Yeah.
And then Mike Tyson's Mysteries of him as the pigeon, just because that's one of the more recent things I remember him in.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to revisit with Norm Macdonald is a recent thing he did when he was doing the YouTube series, the live podcast that he had for a while. He hosted the YouTube Awards one year, and he was with two other like random YouTubers who I have no idea, and I'm sure he didn't know him either. And he was just trolling the whole time and just like making a mockery of the whole award show. It's definitely worth looking that up if you have a chance.
I can't remember your feeling on the ESPYs.
I don't really watch them.
Okay.
I don't really watch any award show.
The ESPYs.
Bunch of rich people getting awards.
Where's
those common folks awards?
It was early in the run of the ESPYs. It was in the mid to late '90s, and they had Norm come out and host it.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't know what they were getting when they had Norm Macdonald do it. They were playing bits of it on Bob and Brian this week. Oh my God, it was so funny because like he didn't care. Like he truly was just like he was going to do whatever he wanted. And like the level of like just comedy that he threw down at the expense of the athletes in the room. Like, you could tell some of them were getting it, but I would love to watch the video of it, because I'm going to guess there was a fair amount of the crowd that didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But his deadpan delivery, and like, there's a reason why he was on David Letterman all the time.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Conan had him on all the time.
Right.
Because they both loved the hell out of him, in that they never knew what they were going to get.
Yeah.
And they never knew what he was going to do with the other guests.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah. Funny dude.
All right.
so any other news? Any pop culture things that have come along?
Not really. Yeah, nothing on my radar.
Yeah, no, that's the only big one I had.
I mean, I would try to review Shang-Chi, but I'm the only one who's seen it, so...
I'll get on that. I'm just happy that I watched AGT.
So, well, speaking of AGT,
yeah.
it's time for...
I don't even remember what I used to say here. Fuck.
I don't think that's what you used to say. But...
Oh, it's time for America's Podcast to recap America's Got Talent.
All right, well...
Brain fart.
So you guys didn't watch the semifinal?
I watched the performances. I didn't watch the results.
Okay.
I looked the results up later. Yeah.
So we'll just cut through those real fast, because we'll get to what everybody's here for, the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So the semifinals started with One Accord doing Police's Every Breath You Take. I said it wasn't for me.
Sounds awful. I don't watch any of these.
It was decent. Yeah. I thought it was decent.
Heidi said that they did it better than Sting.
Yeah.
Honestly, Simon should have looked over at her and said, "You're fired. Get the fuck off my stage."
Yeah, that's no longer a judge.
You're
How
out.
dare you?
You're fired. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
No, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. Go.
I am surprised that she said that. That's, yeah.
Then we had Unicycle Flow.
Yeah.
It was a big step up from their last performance, but still.
Yeah. Not enough for a 60-minute performance.
Leah Kyle, I felt made a huge step back. We'll get there, and there's some spoilers here.
Okay.
I'm surprised that she made it past.
Is this the one that was like kind of nature-y?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple of really big mistakes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of shocked that she got the vote. Kabir Singh, dude, he fell apart.
That was rough.
He fell apart. I thought he had a chance to really maybe go all the way, but
yeah, he was nervous.
Yeah, nerves got the better of him, because he just Northwell Nurses, weakest performance yet. I mean, they just every week they were on, they got worse.
Yeah,
and
that one I agree with.
They
get back to work, nurses.
I'm not even saying that. Like, I'm not shaming them, but it's just
it wasn't good.
Again, I mean, part of it's I don't like choir performances, but the other part of it is we've seen good choirs.
Yeah.
You know, with the Detroit Youth Choir from a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got better or stayed the same every time.
Yeah.
But these guys, the Northwell Nurses, it's just like you're getting they got as far as they did based solely on the fact that they had the story. They were the nurses. If this was not 2021, say this is 2024, and a nurse choir is like, oh man, well, this is when we really formed during the pandemic. People are going to be like, that's 3 years ago. Nobody cares. Your performance is.
We got way worse problems now.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter Antonio, who I had been a fan of and up until then, but his performance just was weird.
What did he do?
I don't even remember, but I remember. Oh, he had him like pick pictures and like he was like describe, but he totally miffed.
Yeah.
On the Heidi one, not the Heidi one, the Sophia
one. Yeah.
And I think that's what got him. You know, like when you mess up like that much of your trick, like.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it's like, just don't go to Sophia for stuff like that. Like, but I mean, however they were supposed to pick pictures.
Yeah.
So that she picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
Or,
he just had to kind of gloss over that.
Yeah, because he just Victory Brinker, just no.
No.
Just no.
Okay.
No, please.
All right.
Chap kids. Seriously, dance groups are boring.
Yeah, how'd they get in there again?
I don't understand how they got that far.
Yeah.
Real Chris, that's the three brothers doing the dude. That is just an insane level of talent.
Yeah.
Like they are doing stuff that like is mind-boggling that their bodies could do that.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's very impressive.
I expect that they'll get jobs with Cirque du Soleil or some sort of circus, because that's the kind of they'll find a job.
Yeah, definitely.
Josh Blue,
that was a good set.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, was that the soccer one or the Paralympics?
I can't remember if that was the set. That I just remember it was really funny.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I assume that was because that's not anything you covered in the finale one.
Okay. And then Brooke Simpson, I thought she just knocked it out of the park. I don't remember. I didn't write down what she sung, but I wrote that she was very. I just wrote really good yet again.
Yeah.
Okay. For the save, it was Leah Kyle, Unicycle Flow, and Victory Brinker. I mean, come on. I mean, it was so obvious. Like, as soon as they said it, the unicycle people should have been like,
"Get on our bikes and roll out."
We'll just leave.
Yeah, right.
We see how this is going. I mean, so then it went to the nurses versus One Accord.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, like, this is the one time where, like, when they say neither of you was what I was hoping for.
Right.
But I also said that they'll never do that again after last time, which in a second here.
Yeah.
It was a bad choice, but I mean the nurses went through.
Yeah.
So the nurses were in the final. I wrote down Heidi and Sophia. My outfits must have been something else that day. Okay. So you didn't watch the results? Neither of you watched the results for the semifinals?
No, I didn't watch any of the stuff for the semifinals.
So they pulled out Kabir Singh versus Real Chris. And I was like, okay, this could go either way, because Kabir Singh has been good, so he might get votes based on previous performances and, kind of a fan base. But Real Chris had a really strong performance. And then they did the one thing that I thought they were never going to do again. And Terry went, neither of you. Both get off the stage.
That's such a shitty thing to do.
And when they did that a couple years ago, the internet exploded with, like, how dare you?
Yeah.
So I was shocked that they did it again, but the internet didn't really explode this time. So that's maybe because they had done it before. People were like, eh.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Simpsons did it.
Yeah. So then we went to Brooke Simpson versus Chap Kids. Brooke Simpson got in, and I wrote the most right choice of the season.
All right.
That's also when Simon said something that kind of was stupid and made me a little mad, where he was so mad that the Chap Kids were going home. He's like, I almost think that I should institute a wild card for the finals. Because, like, he was like the Chap Kids, because he told them that, like, he thought they could win it all, and they were so good, and I was like, Simon, you might be seeing something that the rest of us aren't, because
I was not impressed by them at all. How many times throughout this did they say that was the best of the night?
That episode, almost everybody.
It seems like it, yeah.
So then it was Josh Blue versus Peter Antonio. I mean, Josh Blue was the right choice between the two based off the performances.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, Peter should have gone in over the nurses. Then I wrote, or whoever wins the save, because at that point I didn't know. Leah Kyle won the save somehow. I think that because she's a attractive blonde.
I should say based on her appearance.
Yeah, because her performance, I do wonder if that was one of the bigger shocks of the season. Leah Kyle winning the save, especially over Victory Brinker. Like,
Maybe people just keep saving her, waiting for malfunction.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's gotta happen eventually.
There's only so many layers.
And then they actually voted 3-1 for Victory Brinker, which was stupid.
Who said no?
One of the girls. No. I think it was one of the. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But
Huh.
I think it was one of the girls actually. But yeah, so that's the semifinal.
how does the quick change stuff work, though? Because I don't get it.
know. I don't understand it either, because normally I can kind of figure it because like there's multiple outfits under
Yeah.
the one outfit,
Yeah.
and the outfits increasingly get smaller as the or there's something that they're doing when they're, because a lot of them like always like bring that curtain up over them and then bring it back down.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing it there in front of you.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some of it I've noticed was like breakaway fabric. Like there's some sort of like string she can pull that like makes, you know,
Something
unroll. But some of it was just like going from like a small dress to like a really big dress.
Yeah.
Right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's weird.
And so like when they say that she's the best quick change artist that they've ever had on the show, I don't disagree with them. I mean, the only reason I was, I want to say it should be based off the performance of the night. If both performances are somewhat equal, then you go through the rest of the season. But, based off of that night, I don't know. I mean, when you're a magician and you make a mistake, like it sent Peter and Antonio home.
Yeah.
And somehow she got the save.
Yeah. It's because Heidi just loves her so much.
It's true.
So then we get to the finale.
Hey, this one I got notes on.
All right. So Jimmy Herod went first.
Yes, he sang "What a Wonderful World."
I would love if somebody would do some sort of math for me. I'm not expecting it out of either of you.
That's good.
But I would love to know, when it comes to any of the live performances of AGT, or even like American Idol or The Voice or any of the call-in shows where, they have like 10 acts or however many acts a night, and then, people have to vote. What the percentage of the first person going actually getting through to the live round, getting through to the next round, over or winning the whole thing. Because I feel like going first is a huge disadvantage on a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Because, people are, might forget you.
Yeah.
Or they don't, like, unless you just blow them out of the water or they're only watching it to vote for you.
Right.
People are going to hold back their votes.
Unless they take notes.
Unless they take notes, and most people probably don't. Unless they're running a podcast.
Yeah.
But I wrote that it was infinitely forgettable. Like, I'm not a fan of that guy's voice. I mean, he's going to have a career on Broadway.
I wrote down he's a good singer, doesn't move, so he needs to work on his stage presence. Not entertaining enough to be a headlining show in Vegas.
So,
like, how many people would regularly pay to see him just stand there and sing songs from movies?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Leah Kyle, her performance seemed really short.
Yeah.
But, man, did she step up from her last round. Like, she really did.
Yeah, that was cool.
See, not seeing her last round, I put, it doesn't feel like a headliner. Like, kind of the mystery's gone away for it. I don't know if they were the stage hands setting up, but you know how she had those panels she was walking in front of when she was changing?
Yeah.
She would change, like, right in the middle of the gaps of the panel, and you could see people moving behind her.
Oh.
I didn't notice
So I don't
that.
know if they were stage crew setting things up or if they were, like, assistants that are, like, pulling something to get the dress to go. But you can see people walking behind her as she's moving.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Because I was like, is that stage hands or is that
Interesting.
performer helpers?
Then we got to Victory Brinker.
We all know your thoughts on that one.
Since we know where you're going, I put talented singer, very bright future, has the ability to be one of the top opera singers when she's older, but just not for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Headlining act in Vegas? I don't think so.
No.
Those bumpers that they filmed for her, annoyed the piss out of me.
Is that like her writing in her diary?
Most of the bumpers they filled for people annoyed me. I was like,
Yeah.
let's see how sappy you're going
But-
to be. Let's see what your sad story's going to be.
But the overarching thought pattern in my house, which is 2 people, was that performance was her worst performance of the season. Like, she was awful. And the judges were, like, standing on the table and all like, oh my God, this was the greatest ever. And I'm like, what are they smoking? Like, that was terrible compared to what she had done.
Yeah.
Gina Brion, I thought just killed it. I thought she was hilarious.
I agree with that.
I felt like it was kind of flat to me.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain where she finishes then.
Yeah, I was like, really good stage presence. Kind of felt like it came up flat. Good opening act, not feeling like a headliner.
So maybe because I was so annoyed by Victory Brinker having, somebody with real talent show
Like, this
up.
kid's terrible, and the next one that comes out, just you're like, yeah!
This is the best ever! Dude, those World Taekwondo people are impressive, but, I mean, they're not going to win. I felt like, and that's like that's a halftime show at an NBA game or like a high school that like hires like the inspirational team to come and so like they got a bunch of guys going, oh, when you gotta kick something, ha, and then like give like a motivational speech to like, yeah, that's what it felt like to me.
They're very disciplined, and the concentration is amazing. But it was exciting. They had some stumbles in there where you see they missed boards.
Yeah.
And then the other note I put would be hate to be the cleanup crew.
I don't know why I wrote this, so she must have said something during the World Taekwondo thing. I wrote Heidi needs to go.
Wow.
It's fair. We don't need to know the context. It's fair.
That's fine.
I
get it.
Aiden Bryant, I wrote that was probably the winning performance right there. Like he just I was like, wrap it up. I think he just won.
It's amazing, and the concentration and strength it takes to spin and hang in there, and did not miss a step.
Yeah,
Like he was on point with everything he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, how is he not puking?
I don't know how any of those guys.
I get dizzy watching him.
Yeah.
There must be a trick that these guys know that allows them to spin around that fast and not get dizzy or not puke, or they're just born with a certain level of.
As soon as that thing stopped spinning, I'd be right on my ass. I don't even think I could hang on the whole time it was spinning. I just
those camp games or like the youth group building games where like you play dizzy bat, like you run in a line, put your head down on the bat, spin 10 times, and then try to run back. Yeah, no. Like, everybody's, like, wibbling and wobbling and falling over. Like, somehow I get the feeling, like, he would just run, spin, and then run. And you'd be like, how? All right, that guy doesn't get dizzy. Get him an aerialist set up. This guy...
Go get some sheets. Go spin around. All right.
Then we went to Brooke Simpson. She was very good. She did that Bishop Briggs song.
Yeah.
I said it was very good, but I had liked her previous performance better. I'm still putting her in the top 5.
Yeah.
Good stage presence, crazy talented, needs a recording contract. Has an outstanding chance to win it all. And then I also wrote, plus that outfit.
This is where we're going to come into some controversy later in the show. Dustin Tavella. Dude, I felt like that performance was a step back for him.
Really?
Wow. I did. Like, both Jess and I thought, like, he didn't do as well in the finals as he had done previously. And, like, it became way more about the storytelling than the actual magic. And it's like, we had a storyteller last year win it. But that's all he was, like a storyteller.
Yeah.
Like, you're a magician. Like, do magic.
Yeah.
And it was...
Well...
I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily agree with some people who are like, it's just exploitative of his kids and he's just blah, blah, blah. But I did feel like that performance was a step back.
Okay. I guess I just don't remember the other ones all that well, but I was impressed with this.
I put he's an excellent storyteller. He had good audience and judge interaction. The one thing I did notice, though, when he had the paper that said give, when he first put it in his hand, you can see him toss it to the side. I don't know if you noticed that. Before he made all the confetti come out,
Oh, no.
you see him just toss something, and then the confetti come. So it's like, did he run? I don't know what he did.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like that performance was as good as some of the ones he had done beforehand. And then Josh Blue came out, and I said definitely top 3 that could have just won it for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But him, like we talked about earlier, he's like one of those established people.
Yeah, he's
already.
well known.
Yeah,
even them talking about that in his little like backstory they filmed about how far he's traveled and all the clubs he's done.
Yeah, that does still kind of, like, I was pulling for him to win just because at that point I was like, I'd rather have him win than a couple of the other people that I was afraid were going to be a lot higher up. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like, he won whatever that comedy show was a few years ago.
Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, Last Comic Standing. He's got a bunch of stand-up performances all over various different streaming services.
Yeah.
And he's a headliner, and maybe not headlining the Pfizer, but he's headlining. He's probably doing.
Well, there's that comedy club too that we've been talking about going to.
Right.
Like he could easily sell that out.
Right. I'm guessing he's probably maybe even headlining something bigger like the Pabst or Riverside. Well, especially now.
No.
Yeah.
But I did really appreciate the jokes he had about how his one hand had its own life and was ordering stuff, and
Yeah, but he definitely uses his disability to his advantage in his acts.
And then for the last performance of the finals, they brought the Northwell Nurses out. I'm assuming that the producers or the judges were trying to kind of juice the voting a little bit, kind of pushing it. I'm not. Listen, for all you motherfuckers online.
Whoa!
Here we go.
Where did this come from?
The aggressiveness just went up a level.
This show, like every other game show on TV, is not rigged. It cannot be rigged. If it is rigged, we're talking real jail time and massive amount of fines for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The federal government controls things like that. If you rig a game show and you get caught, it's not just getting your show canceled or fined. You're talking real, jail time. So it's not rigged. So just stop it. Stop saying it's rigged. There are things the producers can do to kind of massage to get the results that they want, like putting the nurses last, by giving the bumpers that they do a little bit more airtime, by maybe putting them in the commercials a little bit more, but they cannot control the votes.
No.
They cannot. It's people. I mean, ultimately, if it's a game show, well, even like Jeopardy, if you go back, there's a great movie that was made late 90s, early 2000s called Quiz Show, about a massive game show scandal from the 50s or 60s, where the producers were like giving this guy the answers beforehand, and he was he got caught, and it was bad. I mean, it almost ended TV game shows. It was such a scandal, and there are laws about it. So stop saying it's rigged. It's not. Just because you didn't like the outcome doesn't mean it's rigged.
Damn internet people.
I mean, we'll get there. Okay, so I wrote that there was a bunch of nonsense happened in the live, because it was they brought out, like you said, the George Lopez with Gina Brion thing.
I only watched about half of that live episode, the results show. But the thing I did like Aiden Bryan and the Taekwondo demo team. I thought they were good together.
Yeah.
Like watching him do his stuff as they're doing theirs. I thought that was highly entertaining. And then the Bishop Briggs and Brooke Simpson singing White Flag together.
Which I
I
thought
was like, that, I could see them doing that in like a future tour.
right, and I thought it was really weird
That she just sang
that she had done
that
that for her
song.
final performance. Like, you would have thought they would have been like, can we do another song for like the finale? Like,
Yeah.
not the song you literally just did less than 24 hours ago, but whatever. I mean, it
I
was
thought those two together was a good performance. And then the Brion and Lopez, that was just,
that was stupid.
yeah, that was just bad. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, I
didn't even write down what was happening. I just wrote a bunch
go
of
sleep.
bunch of nonsense. All right, so we had the voting to get to the top 5.
Uh-huh.
Josh Blue versus Gina Brion. So right out the gate, I'm a little shocked
Yeah.
because I thought for sure both of those were top 5.
Yeah.
Not the wrong choice in that scenario, especially given how Justin presented her semifinals performance or her finals performance.
Yeah, I thought it just came up flat.
Jimmy Herod versus Leah Kyle. As much as Leah Kyle winning this, the vote was a surprise from the semifinals, I thought her beating Jimmy Herod was kind of a surprise. I thought that based off of what I'd been reading on the internet, he was such a favorite, but I wasn't mad about it.
Mhm.
Like, I would have rather have. See, that's where I think Gina Brion should have been in over Leah Kyle, because I don't have a problem with any of the way the rest of the votes went. Aiden Bryant versus World Taekwondo. I mean, I had said his performance was probably the winning performance of the night, so not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Victory Brinker versus Brooke Simpson. Dude, I was so nervous. I was like, one of these two I would absolutely watch again. One of these two might make me never watch this show again.
Glad it went the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brooke Simpson. And then Northwell Nurses versus Dustin DeVello.
I didn't watch any of that, but when I was watching some of the other stuff, I was like, if the nurse choir wins this whole thing, I might have just been done.
Yep. For me, it was down to if any of there's 8 possible winners here that I'm like, there's 1 or 2 that I'm good with. There are 2 that make me stop watching this show. But one of them just went home. This is the other one.
Yeah.
So I was really happy to see that Dustin DeVello beat the Northwell Nurses, because this is what happens every year with AGT. There's an act that the judges, for whatever reason, absolutely love. That everybody, at least in my house, is like, or it's not that good. Stop it. Years past, it was light balance or whatever those stupid light dancers are always every year that we thankfully didn't have this year.
Yeah.
More normally it's them, and we're like, we don't get it. Like, maybe if we saw it live,
Mm-hmm.
like we'd be like, oh my goodness, they are so good. But they always get to the finals and then they don't make it to the top 5 because America finally was like, I mean, you're cool, but you're not that cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with Victory Brinker. I think that's what happened with Jamie Herod. I think that's happened with Northwell Nurses. Like, it was kind of like,
Mine's always like, would I pay money to see these? That's the level I go with.
Mhm.
Would you pay money to go see the nurse choir? Probably not. Victory Brinker? I don't think so.
So we're now down to the top 5, where they don't go against each other anymore. It's now just they say who's number 5. Number 5 was Leah Kyle.
Yeah.
Not surprising. Seems right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Brooke Simpson. Not necessarily where I would have put her, but I'm not mad. I mean, that seems right.
Yeah.
Well. This is where we start to fall apart a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Josh Blue finishing 3rd.
Yeah.
I thought he should have finished 1st or 2nd.
Okay.
Aiden Bryant finishing 2nd. I thought he should have been 1st or 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
I do, based solely off of the performances from the finals, or from the finale, going into that night, I thought Dustin DeVello was one of the weakest of all 10 of them.
Okay.
So for him to win off of that performance, I understand why the internet, particularly the subreddit on AGT, is really angry about him winning.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
Oh, they're furious. I would not recommend going to that cesspool.
All right.
We wasted our time watching this show.
He's so bad. Like, listen, I'm not really upset that he won. It is kind of disappointing considering how much better Aiden Bryant was. Like, I mean, even if, because you said you kind of liked Dustin DeVella's performance.
Yeah, I saw some slip-ups, but I did enjoy it.
But I would say, because for me, I think you should vote, like I said earlier, on the performance of the night, not necessarily over the whole season. And I think based on that, and well, I mean, if you do even do the whole season, Aiden Bryant started good and got better every week.
Yeah.
He, so I would have been, like, I wouldn't have been mad if Josh Blue had won, but at the same time, it kind of would have been, I would have had a whole thing about, like, he was a professional, established comedian. Did he deserve to win? Where Aiden Bryant was at least Aiden Bryant won a car because the top two got a car.
Oh, there you go.
But at the same time, it's like, I think he maybe deserved to win. Like,
yeah.
But I also feel like the second he got off the stage, the producer handed him the phone and went, Cirque du Soleil's on line 1.
Here's a number. Call them. You got a job.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be okay. Yeah.
Like he'll. Yeah. And they said he was from a particular place in Virginia that's not too far away from my parents live.
Oh.
I am vaguely aware of that side of town. That side of town ain't hurting. that side of town, a little bit higher up.
I see.
Not saying he is.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him personally or what family he's coming from, but I'm just saying
the area is...
that area, kind of like Brookfield.
Ah, okay,
Right.
okay.
Maybe not as populated.
Okay.
And maybe not as like not high level of stores and whatnot around it, but the general.
They're doing okay for themselves.
Yeah,
there.
they're doing okay for
Okay.
themselves. Yeah.
Should we try to get him on the show?
Absolutely.
All right.
Other than the nurses, I don't think I'd have a problem with anybody on. Well, I wouldn't want to interview Victory Brinker. One, because I've said some pretty mean things about her.
Yeah.
About a 9-year-old.
But I don't want to interview a 9-year-old on this show.
Yeah, me neither.
I feel like that puts us I feel like that puts us on a list.
Yeah, there's gonna be some red flags going on.
There will be a list that we'd get put on that I don't feel comfortable being on.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if any of those guys wanted to come on the show and talk about it.
What about that guy that dressed like the animals?
Oh, Seth Ward?
Yeah.
Seth Ward.
Would you interview him?
He's got to talk like a normal guy.
Okay.
You and I talked about this. I thought we talked about it on an episode.
I think we did.
Where I don't know. I mean, if we could line it up, I wouldn't be like, I'm just not coming that week.
Yeah.
But he would need to understand there's a good chance it might be a combative interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope he's ready for that.
The one thing I did notice that, like with Dustin DeVella winning, he was one of the PCR golden buzzers.
Okay.
We did give him the golden buzzer.
Oh my God. Wow.
For
We're
us.
geniuses.
Aiden Bryant didn't get anything, and then Josh Blue was my golden buzzer.
Okay.
So we did, at least when he did his first show, we gave him our golden buzzer.
Well, did
Okay.
you notice that
Over Aiden
I
Bryant,
deleted
because
it already.
that was the same episode. That was episode 1, I believe.
Do you have the top 5 written down still?
Nope.
But we can remember.
It was
Leah.
Okay.
Leah Kyle was 5.
So the highest golden buzzer of the season was 5. Like
Yeah.
every other golden buzzer got eliminated in 5 through or 6 through 10. And then, number 5 was like, we're like, oh, we got all the golden buzzers but 1. Number 5, got the rest of them. Ha!
Yeah, I know. Listening to Media Pot Smash that day before I watched that, and we were talking about conspiracy theories. I was like, how many of these are going to be golden buzzer? What is the percentage of golden buzzers that end up in the top 3 or win it?
There's
And then I never
Like,
did that research.
I know Grace Vanderwall had gotten the golden buzzer, and then she ended up winning it all. I think Cody Lee got the golden buzzer and won it all. But overall, I think most winners are not golden buzzers. Overall, I mean, I still love the show. And because the nurses didn't win, I'll watch it next year, and we'll do this recap again next season. There potentially is going to be something called AGT Extreme this winter.
Oh,
So we might have a reprieve in not having content.
what is that?
I assume it's going to be a lot of just like the danger acts. Like,
Okay.
Winter
Like, I don't-
sports.
I don't know if they're going to bring previous danger acts back, or they only are doing auditions for danger acts.
Okay.
I have not heard a lot about it. I've just heard that it's happening.
Okay.
So I think they're doing that this year instead of AGT Champions, where they bring in all the champions from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going with this?
Nobody knows but you.
Okay, there was talk about.
But yeah, I thought it was weird that we gave him the golden buzzer
Yeah.
for him over Aiden Bryant. That was episode 1.
Oh wow.
We're smart.
Okay, I remember now what I was gonna say. I hope that next season we get the judge cut rounds back, because there won't be Olympics next year, and so that couple weeks of judge cuts, or maybe cut the auditions down by a week or two, because I think, well, one, it made the golden buzzer this season completely pointless. I mean, they made the golden buzzer completely pointless when they did like the 5-way golden buzzer for Victoria Brinker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but
The hatred is real
you
for that
really
one.
hate that kid.
I don't hate the kid. I just hate the act.
Well,
Which is the kid.
No, I'm fine with it. It makes it sound like
I'm fine with the hatred. Let's move on.
it makes it sound like I hate kids. I don't hate kids.
Just
No.
that one.
just that one in particular.
And all the other kid acts that have been on the show.
But the not having the judge cuts, I think, really hurt the show, because basically it gave everybody a golden buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically everybody went right from the auditions to the live rounds. So, like, having the golden buzzer wasn't really special,
Mm-hmm.
like, because everybody got it. But I think we had a lot of acts maybe even make it to the semifinals that wouldn't have made it into the live rounds at all had there been that second audition.
Yeah.
Like the one act that we really came down on, the octopus people.
Oh, was that the singer?
Yeah, the wannabe funk band. Like, they were really funny.
Johnny Showcase.
Yeah, Johnny Showcase. I feel like that guy would have not... The whole act wouldn't have made it past the judge cuts. Because, like, the first time you see him, it's new, it's unusual, it is kind of fun. And then the second time, it was like, oh, yeah. So I wonder if, like, some of the acts that was in the wild card that was on Peacock would have been just straight to the lives, rather than have this Johnny Showcase make it onto the live show, because, like, he really wasted a space for somebody who probably should have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Same with probably Sethward. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might have been putting him to the lives just to, like, stop him from coming back. I don't.
You can say the same with even Keith Apicary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another one that wouldn't have made it.
Yeah. That's true.
The Curtis family C notes or whatever they were.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They clearly have some sour grapes, because they've been all over Reddit and some other places, Instagram, I think, trying to say that the producers set them up.
Oh.
But they're trying to say that, like, they because remember when Simon, like, when they said, hey, maybe the kids should pick the song, not the parents.
Yeah.
And the kids jumped all over social media saying that the parents didn't pick the song, the producers forced them to do that song, and blah. And it's like, no. You guys went to them with a list of songs that they didn't have clearance for,
Mm-hmm.
and said, you can't do those songs, pick another one. And then finally you guys just went, okay, fine, we'll do this one. and you gave a lackluster performance with it. You didn't try to do anything with it. You just kind of went through the motions, and it got you sent home.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't pick songs they don't have clearances for, or understand what that is.
Yeah.
Understand that there are certain artists that will not let you do their songs on a show like that because they don't allow them to do that.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago when somebody got a Paul Simon song, like Simon Cowell took this time to be like, you understand that Paul Simon never gives clearances for this, and the fact that he said yes to you is kind of amazing.
Oh, really? He actually said that during the show? That's
right.
interesting.
He said that during the judge when they said, because they said normally we can't, like, a contestant will be like, oh, I want to do Bridge Over Troubled Water, and they're like, dude, we don't got clearance for that. They won't let us.
Yeah.
Or we called we called management, and management said nope. But for whatever reason, he saw the show or it had gotten back about you, and he said yes.
Wow.
So there are times where for whatever reason, Bob Dylan thinks super high of himself, so he's not going to let you do a song on America's Got Talent because that would be selling out.
Yeah.
And
everyone should just do Weird Al songs. He'd be all for it. I bet he'd be like, yeah, go ahead.
I'd watch that.
Weird Al's Got Talent.
Oh, yeah, he does.
America's Got Weird Al.
So I hope Judge Cuts come back just to kind of weed out some of the performances, but also to make the Golden Buzzer worth getting, and B, like, some of the acts that I thought were really good in the auditions that just didn't show back up for a second time. You're like, wait, where was that one? Like that one father and son comedian.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
That's weird. Yeah.
Like they just didn't come back.
Yeah.
Like they just. You're like, what happened to them?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun recapping this show.
It was.
We'll have to come up with something else until we. Until AGT Extreme comes back.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just start picking either random reality shows to recap, or we'll just we'll pick Full House and start doing an episode a week.
Oh God, it'll be the most wholesome podcast ever.
No, we won't do Full House. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina, I'd watch that.
So, America, if you are out about... I got nothing.
If you're a victory brinker, or...
If you do the introduction for the...
I guess...
For the recap for X amount of weeks, and then the final show, you forget your line.
Yeah. Right, yeah. I guess just one more time. It's called. Let me pull it up real fast here. Why now do you have to decide not to work fast?
If you can't figure out the name of the podcast you were just on.
No, I want to make sure that
if you butcher your introduction you've been doing all series.
Oh, I didn't butcher it this time.
No, I butchered the introduction. You can't remember what you just talked about.
Well, I wanted to get the official name. It's the Wrap It Up Podcast. They are on Buzzsprout.com. They do a lot of. He does a lot of interviews. I guess he has some live shows that he does throughout the week. So check that out. I'll post the link again. I'll post the link to the actual show once that gets posted.
Right.
And we'll go from there. Hopefully it brings us a new audience, or maybe we'll have to in turn have this guy on the show and show him the insanity that we do.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So check that out. And then just remember, if you completely bungle everything, like Justin just said, stupid never walks alone.
It's rough.